Hello everyone and Kungi Fa Choi. Happy New Year. We are getting ready to show you a quick demonstration. Well, maybe not too quick, maybe like 20 minutes on how to make your own polymer clay ox if you want to. If not, we will have these available at the Bead Gallery for you. And so it is a teeny tiny ox, maybe about the size of a dime. And Charity is going to be showing you how she does one. It's a pretty amazing process because she takes clay, rolls it out on her fingers, cuts teeny tiny eyeballs, puts a little makeup on them, bakes them, and next thing you know, you have one of these super cute ox charms. So we're going to go straight to her demonstration today and jump in, and we'll give you a little bit more information towards the end of the demonstration so you can focus on her magical hands. Come this way.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today. So as Jamie said, this is the charm we're gonna make, and if you're how big is it?
It's a dime?
It's about the size of a dime, and this is the back. Okay, so let's get started.
Joy said hi.
Hi Joy! So here are a few tools I'll be using today. We have a dotting tool, an X-Acto knife, a dental tool, and a very tiny paintbrush. We have some clay here. Here's a tan colored pink, black, white, brown, and some chalk pastels for the blush, and we have a head pin. So let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is break off a piece of brown clay, and this is going to be for the head. And I kind of just eyeball it, and then I smooth it into a very round, soft square shape. So I'm just going to do that now. And it takes some time to like condition it and get it all smoothed out. So I'll end up squishing it this way and back from the top and the bottom until it turns out very smooth. I wonder if that looks okay. And then I kind of just try to keep it so it's the same size. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit because it's a little too big. I'm trying to keep them even. So I think this should be perfect. So I'm just going to make sure that the shape is perfect. We're just going to keep rounding and squishing it together, making sure no air sockets are in there. And it's kind of flat, but there's some dimension to it. It's not completely round. It's kind of like a disc. And I think we can work with that. That's okay. It's okay if it turns out a little bigger. Okay, so once the basic shape is done, we kind of got a rounded off square shape. I'm going to take my head pin, and it's flat at the bottom like this, so it won't fall out. And I'm going to insert it from the bottom straight to the top, like so. And sometimes it will get a little bit out of shape, and you can just squish it back so it's in a nice soft round square again. And there we go. So with the same brown colored clay, I'm going to pinch off a smaller piece.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
1 second. So I'm going to take off a smaller piece of brown clay and I'm going to just roll it between my fingers into an oval shape, kind of like this, and this is going to be for the ears. So it looks kind of like a chunky piece of rice, and I'm just going to flatten that a little bit. And I'm going to take one more piece and squish this between my fingers so it's flat. So we have one for the ear, and then this is going to be for this fringe at the top. So with the fringe, I'm just going to squish it down onto the surface so it's nice and flat. With my X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut out the hair. So there's there's some points, and we're just going to follow along with that. So I'm cutting away some parts like this, and I'm going to turn it so it's this angle, like that. And I'm just going to cut another piece from the bottom. And they're kind of in the same direction, like this and like that. So that's one spike, and then we're going to cut another one here. And then we're just going to cut one more piece. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of cute when it looks a little, when it looks not exactly, I don't know what the word is.
What's that?
When it's like kind of
Has an
uneven.
Yeah, it has a nice organic look. Looks like a real haircut.
Yeah, real haircut.
Well, for boys, that's what a real haircut looks like. It's never.
Yeah. So here we have a little fringe, and I'm just going to cut away a little bit of excess piece. So for the ear, there are some pink parts in the ear, so I'm just going to take my dotting tool, and I'm just going to press into it a little bit so there's an indentation for the pink to sit. So now we're going to take our pink clay, and I'm going to pinch off a very small piece. It's very, very small. And I'm going to roll this into another oval so it can fit nicely in our ox ear. Focus. And when I'm rolling really tiny pieces of clay out, I'm not necessarily squishing it between my fingers. I'm kind of just rolling my fingers over it. And then I guess the pressure and the warmth from my fingers will smooth it out over time. So we're just going to add this here to the ear and tap it down like so. So with our X-Acto knife, we're just going to cut it in half. So now we have 2 ears and a little ox fringe. So I guess I'm going to get all the components ready and then add it all together, and we can see it come to life. So we're going to take this beige color and we're going to pinch off a little piece. And this is going to be for the horns. So I'm going to roll out a little piece and then cut out 2 even pieces. And I kind of just eyeball everything. I can't really give you guys correct measurements, but there's no correct measurements when you play with clay. So I think that should be okay. Maybe we can make it a little bigger. Yeah, I'm going to make it a little bigger.
Are you just going to add on to the pieces?
Yeah, because I'm going to fix the shape anyways, so I'm just going to add on a little bit more to each side. So once we have 2 even pieces, I'm just going to take them and then roll them in between my fingers. And I'm going to start off into like a little round shape, and then I'm just going to roll them on the table so it tapers on one end. And they're going to be straight at first, but we're going to curve them eventually. So here we have, and again, I'm not pushing on the surface, I'm kind of just rolling my finger back and forth over it. So we have 2 cute little horns. What should we do next? Oh yes, eyebrows. The ox has eyebrows. So we're going to take more brown clay, and then we're going to roll it out. And my secret to making even pieces would be to like roll it out and then just cut it. So we're going to take 2 really tiny pieces for the eyebrows. And we're going to do the same for the eyes itself. So we're just going to pinch off a piece of black clay, roll it out so it's nice and even. And we're going to cut out 2 pieces for the eyes. And the eyes are bigger than the eyebrows, so they're going to be a little bigger. You see that? The eyes are a little bigger than the eyebrows. Okay. And then we're going to roll out pieces for the whites of the eyes. So this is going to be a very small piece of white clay that we're pinching off. And we're just going to roll this very thin. It's kind of hard to see it, but you can see it right there. It's going to be a very, very tiny piece of white clay. And these are going to be very microscopic pieces for the whites of the eyes. And I think that's it. Okay, so now, oh, the snout, yes. Thanks, Jason. So for the snout, I'm just going to pinch off a tiny piece of pink. And this is going to be the bottom of the mouth. There are kind of 2 parts to the mouth. So we're just going to do the bottom one for now. And I'll explain why. We're just going to do the bottom part. Okay, so let's put the ox together. So I'm going to take it in my fingers and kind of tilt it to one side, and it's going to be done on both sides. With my dotting tool, I'm going to push in on the side to make like a socket so that the horn has a place to sit in and it won't fall off so easily. So with my dotting tool, I'm just pushing it in and making a little socket, and then we're going to do that to the other side. And we kind of want them to be even on each side. So that's about even. Yeah, that looks okay. And now we're going to go ahead and pick up the horns, and then we're going to let them sit in the socket like that. And then I kind of just squeeze it and push it just a little bit so that it sits nicely in there. And we're going to do the same to the opposite side. I'm just going to squish and kind of push it in there, but we're not like forcing it together. And here we go. So I don't like to leave pieces of clay sticking out so much like that. So we're just going to curve the horns up a bit. And I guess ox have like all sorts of shapes of horns. But for the sake of stability, so they don't break off easily, I'm just going to bend them up. And they're going to touch the top of the head like that. And you can still kind of see like a curve. So I'm going to take my dotting tool like this and kind of just touch it very lightly so that it is secure and it's not going to, in the oven when it bakes, it's not going to like fall back. So here we go. And there we go. And we're going to take the ears next, and we're going to position them right underneath the horn on both sides. And I would take my tool and smooth it down, but we're kind of just going to make sure that it looks okay first. Oh, that looks kind of cute. I think that looks okay. So with the dotting tool, or the dental tool, I'm going to go ahead and smooth it all around very gently. And I'm kind of just making it so that the seams, it's kind of, it blends nicely. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that to the other side. We're not being forceful with this. We're being very gentle, and we're just smoothing it. Oops. My hands are shaking. Haha. That. And then we're just going to do the back. So once it's smoothed in a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of squish and adhere it so it's nice and secure. Just like so. Can you guys see it coming together? Yay! Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the fringe. So I'm just going to take this from the surface, and we're going to see if that looks okay. That looks okay. And I'm just going to tap it down a bit so it gets kind of stuck on there. And with the same dental tool, I'm going to go ahead and smooth it. And this process kind of takes a while, so I'm very slow. And I'm just going to push it so it kind of blends into the forehead. It takes a little while sometimes. But I kind of try to smooth it over at different angles so it's nice and even. And I'm just being very gentle with this. You don't have to push it so hard. Sometimes I'll use the back of my nail because it's flat, and I'll kind of just push it like that. And I think that looks okay. Yeah, that looks cute. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the lower half of the face. So with the dotting tool, same procedure as the horns, we're going to go ahead and make 2 sockets for the eyes, because we all have eyeballs and we all have eyeball sockets. And I'm going to kind of squish them so they're evenly spaced apart. And same with the depth. If one hole is kind of a little too far than the other, the eyes, when you put them in, they're going to kind of sit a little unevenly, so I kind of make sure that this part is even at least. So we got some 2 eye sockets. I'm going to take the blush now, and with the very tiny paintbrush, we're just going to add some pink chalk pastel so it's blushing and it looks even more cute. So I kind of just run the brush over the surface like that, and we're going to go ahead and add some blush. And I kind of do this at the corner of the eyes, just a little bit. And then we're going to do it to the opposite side. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but I can definitely see it in person. So there we go, it's got some rosy cheeks. I think I'll add a little bit more on the right side. And there we go. So now we're going to take the eyes. This is Jamie's favorite part, the eyeballs.
I love the eyes.
So I'm just going to take them between my fingers and roll them around gently until they're nice and round. Usually you can tell, you can kind of feel the edges from where they were cut off sharply with the X-Acto knife, but once they're nice and round like this, we can just go ahead and add them to the sockets like that. And then we just put them in very nicely. Yep, that looks cute. And then we're going to do the same with the eyebrows. We're going to take them between our fingers. And you can do this one at a time, but I'm so used to this, so I can roll like up to 2 at a time. But you kind of just want to roll them until they're nice round circles, very gently. And then I'm rolling it just in one direction so that it forms into kind of chubby round logs. They're not super round, kind of ovally-ish. I think that's a decent shape. And we're just going to position them above the eyeballs like so. Oh dear. And you can play around with the eyebrows and make it look angry. You can make it an angry ox like that. Or you can make it cute. So
Questioning ox. The other way?
a what?
One goes like, what?
Should we
You
make
know?
an angry ox?
No, make a little.
Like a worried looking
Yeah.
ox like that?
Well, that's actually kind of cute.
Okay. So we're just gonna,
Yeah, that's nice.
okay, we're gonna smush it down. And I'm just tapping it very gently with my fingers. So we're not ruining the shape, but it kind of sticks a little bit to the charm. Okay, so the last part, oh, we're almost to the end actually. So we're gonna take the tiny itty bitty pieces of white clay and we're gonna roll them into very, very tiny little spheres. And I usually take like a tool and I'll add it because it's kind of small and hard to get it in the right spot. So I'm just going to add them on the eyeballs, and I think that looks okay. So I'll smash it down with my finger so it gets kind of stuck. And I try to make it so it looks even a little bit. I think that looks okay. Well, it looks kind of different from this charm, but they all like.
They are a little different,
yeah, they all look kind of different. Okay, so the last part, the snout. So I saved this part for last because I'm kind of working this way, and then the very middle is the end part. So I didn't want to make the snout too big, and then there's not enough space for the eyes, and it kind of has like a certain look to it. So now that we know how much space we have, we're gonna just smush the bottom part of the snout down, and we're gonna take a tiny piece of pink clay. Yeah, kind of about the same amount as this, a little bit more. And we're just gonna roll it so it's kind of like a nice log. Just like that. And I'm gonna pick it up so it's on my finger, and I'm gonna pinch the sides so it has like a curve to it, a little curve to it. And we're gonna add this to the top, just like that. There we go. And I'm just gonna tap it down with my finger, and we're almost done now. That's pretty much done. But I'm gonna take my tool like this and then poke 2 little holes for the nostrils. Just like that. And we're all done. So here's the finished product. So I would bake this one in the oven so it cures and hardens.
How long?
It depends on the clay packaging. Yeah, so always follow the baking directions on the packaging.
Perfect.
And then I would clip the wire and then bend it so it turns into a loop. And I would put a glaze on it so it's nice and shiny. Most of the time, actually all the time, after you bake polymer clay, you don't need to add anything to it. But for the sake of the blush, so it doesn't fade over time, I like to add a seal on top of it. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that.
I'm going to move on over to here. So thanks for watching Charity today from Oahu Charms. And at 2 o'clock today, we'll be going on to our Facebook page to show you more Year of the Ox items. It's our Year of the Ox showcase at 2 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time, which is in about 40 minutes. So if you want to join us over there, that'd be great. You get to see more wonderful things. Blue, white, and silver is our color of the year for Year of the Ox, and it's the metal ox. And if you guys have questions, write a comment. We'll get to that. Otherwise, we will see you all on Facebook. Jamie, do you have something to say?
Yes, let them know we'll put Charity's information in the description box, and so they can reach her while purchasing her.
Okay, so we'll put Charity's information on the description box, and you can purchase items from her. Yeah. Anything else? Happy Kungi Fai Choi, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Year of the Ox.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.